All right, go ahead, Mark.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mark, and this is Brenda.
Bitcoin say
We're
what?
Good morning. We're here bright and early. We're early risers, so I run a remodeling company, and Brenda is a wonderful mom and business partner, and we're here to. Boy, I don't even not 100% sure why we're here, but let's probably more about what we've learned, where we're going, where the future is, talking about Bitcoin and crypto technology and blockchain and all that good stuff. So we're just going to get this is our first time out, and I'm going to let Brenda take over, lead the way, and we'll go from there and see where this takes us.
So, Mark and I are not experts at all at Bitcoin or blockchain uh, sphere, but we're new to this and we want to spread the adoption to our community because we're super excited. So, anything that we do on the show, it's not that we're trying to claim that we're super knowledgeable. We'll probably make mistakes, maybe don't even present the 100% accurate information, but we just really want to spread our excitement and we want to spread some fun stuff that we know about it every day so that you can start getting more excited and start researching it yourself. So we're just going to give you little tidbits of information, and then maybe from that you can start going on Twitter or Telegram or just Google search and start looking up some of the terms that we talk about, and then maybe you'll start to understand kind of the beauty behind Bitcoin and blockchain and the rest of the community. So today I want to talk about, let me switch to a new slide here. I want to give you a word of the day every day. And so the first one, of course, is the granddaddy of them all, Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is the very first decentralized digital currency that was created in 2008 by a person or an entity called Satoshi Nakamoto. And what decentralized means is that it's without a central bank. So right now we currently deal in the financial world where we take our money and we deal with the central banks. Your local bank, in your community is a central bank. We get all of our loans through them, etc. And so with this, Satoshi Nakamoto created this Bitcoin so that it could be a peer-to-peer transaction without dealing with the central banks. And so that is pretty much what Bitcoin is. And it has a blockchain that records all the transactions, and it has its own ledger, as we're all used to having ledgers in our banking accounts. We keep it in our QuickBooks program, or back in the day in the 50s and 60s and 70s and beyond, we would have a little check ledger. It has its own ledger of accounts as well. So that's all I'm going to give you today, but I'm sure you hear about Bitcoin because everybody talks about it on the news. It's the one with the highest dollar value right now of close to 60,000. It hit that over the weekend. And I'll be talking more about it tomorrow, so you can get little tidbits about Bitcoin. So that's all I'm going to say. But maybe go research on
I
Bitcoin
got
today.
one quick question. So just for people that are new to this space, is Bitcoin a physical coin?
No, it is not. It is a digital
Okay.
coin, so you cannot physically hold it, although it is represented for the most part on social media and on the news as a like gold coin, but there is no coin that you can hold at all. It is a digital coin that is basically represented by a bunch of letters and numbers. So that's it.
Cool.
All right,
Cool.
so we're
It's
going to
good
go
to
on to
know.
we're going to go
Oh,
on to you, Mark. And Mark is
okay.
going to talk about. Actually, let me lead in. I'm going to read the slide because he cannot see the slide for some reason. We can't figure this out. And then we're going to talk about something called an altcoin, which is anything that is not Bitcoin. So there's Bitcoin, and then everything else is called altcoin. And before the Bitcoin community bashes us here, um, we are only talking about a few altcoins every week because I felt for myself, and I believe for Mark as well, that once we realized there were other coins besides Bitcoin and that there was this whole economic system and ecosystem that was starting to develop, we started to wrap our head around the whole concept of Bitcoin, and that Bitcoin is the foundation, but these altcoins will probably be built upon the Bitcoin community. Um, and this is what will help, I think, a whole new ecosystem develop. So don't bash us, the Bitcoin maxis. But Mark's going to talk about this altcoin called Filecoin. And the slide reads, it is a decentralized storage network designed to store humanity's most important information. So tell everybody about Filecoin, Mark.
Okay. Yeah, like Brenda said, there are what they call altcoins in this space. So we are we're relatively new, so understanding, I think, is part of everyone's journey. So for us, we know that there's more than just one coin, but there are maximalists out there, and I totally understand and respect where they come from. And maybe one day when I grow up, I'll be one too. Not sure where this all takes us. So, Filecoin is a coin that is basically a decentralized storage network. So, right now, its competitor is like Amazon and Apple, the cloud service, where basically companies and individuals go to store their information. And what right now this means for kind of the blockchain driven decentralized network is essentially that the information that's stored is not necessarily in one place. And why that presents a challenge of it being stored in one place is if a server farm goes down, it's one location. It's easy. As I understand, it's more hackable. Don't understand how or why, but that's one of the reasons. So what this does is it spreads out uh, access to your own information. You can be a custodian of your own information. I am not a technical individual, so I'm a little over my skis in this space because I'm more of a kind of hammer and nail kind of guy. So for me, understanding it, because it's probably not something I have to access on a day in and day out basis. I do see that there are some certain needs for it. My understanding of the ecosystem here is really about these big companies that offer these storage spaces, but they also bundle other things along. Kind of like when you get like cable and internet and all that, you're buying several things and you only really need one. That's probably one of the major challenges in the space today. Currently, the coin itself trades around $180. The ticker symbol, if you want to kind of equate it to the stock market, is FIL. It has been up about 313% over the last 30 days. Over the last 30 days, and a little over 3,400% over the year. So I'm going to give you a little bit of information about Filecoin every day, just a little bit. And as I'm giving out that information, I'm learning as well. And I'm going to pass this right on back to Brenda.
And I believe you're going to talk later on this week. So if you're interested in this, make sure you either catch the live or the replay. How Filecoin is pairing up with another coin, and again, the maxis don't bash us here, with the NFT community in relation to, if you look at the slide that I have up, they show like movie reels and cassettes for people who need to store their movies. And we have sons that are in the movie industry and in the production industry for like music videos and stuff. And so people in that community need a big database to store a ton of their footage. And so Mark's going to talk about that later on, how Filecoin is kind of connected with someone else. So if you're interested in that or know someone, catch the replay, because it's a big problem right now, and I think they're trying to solve that. So that's cool. So, all right, you ready? Should we go on to the next one? Okay. So I'm going to talk about another one, another altcoin, and I found this really interesting, and it's called Origin Trail, and the website is origintrail.io, and so you can go check that out. And just so you guys know, the .io, at first I thought it was like a hack or some sort of bad thing. That means that's on the blockchain. So if you see that, don't worry about it. You're just going to go to, instead of a .com, a .io, and that's just websites that are on the blockchain, which is part of this new ecosystem that's starting to develop. And it is a place where modern supply chains right now lack transparency. And so this company is trying to solve this. And as well, there's another one I'm going to bring to the table as well to you guys this week. And what they're trying to do is that for people, especially people who have extreme food sensitivities, which we do in our family. One of our sons has got extreme food sensitivities. This is something that it will help solve the problem, where you can check out and track the supply chain of a piece of food that you're eating. And so this fuels the Origin Trails is a decentralized network. And so what that does is that we're going to need some, when you invest in this, you can also invest in some tokens that help the community grow. And so just know that this is part of how it all works. You can buy the coin, then you can buy a token, and then you can also just use the system, even if you don't want to invest in it, just by going to the grocery store and purchasing from vendors or suppliers, let's say a chicken supplier at your local grocery store that participates in this. And what happens is that there is a, let me scroll back here. There is, when you go to the grocery store, you're going to see a barcode, let's say on this piece of chicken here packaged up. And then you are going to have an app, and they use this QR code to learn more about the breeder. Okay, so you're like, okay, is this really grass-fed cow, or is this really grain-fed chicken without pesticide? And you can scan that barcode that you have on your phone, and then it'll give you information about the breeder, the farmer, where it was packaged at, how they packaged it, the process. And it's all secured in the blockchain. And what that means is that the blockchain, there's blocks, and we'll talk about this in the coming weeks. The blocks is each block is connected to the previous one and the one behind it. You cannot go in and alter the information. And so once the blocks are all connected in the front and the back, there's nothing that you can do to go change the information. So right now when you go to the grocery store, you believe what you're reading. And if it says in here grass-fed beef, well, does that mean grass-fed 100%? Does it mean 80% and the last 20% is corn finished, is what they call it? You don't know, because there's nothing on it. It's just marketing on there. And so with this here, you can definitely tell the whole supply chain from stem to stern. And so this is just another community that's starting to grow within the whole blockchain crypto community. So again, Bitcoin is the granddaddy that we need to support and totally invest in. And then with that, these other companies will probably survive and grow and help solve a lot of problems for the community. It's a great thing. And I'm really excited to hear about Origin Trail. And I'm going to bring to you another one, and it's about cattle farming, which is another type of thing as far as the supply chain. It's a really cool concept. So anything, Mark, before I move on to you?
No, I did listen to, I forgot the name of the, you kind of pass it on to me. Was it Untapped Growth?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that later on this week.
Yeah, that's something you're going to talk about. That was really interesting. I find what they're doing is a really cool space and something you can talk about. So, yeah, these are things that aren't really pie in the sky. These are things that are making changes to problems today that we can improve. So,
sure. And I think we need to realize that these aren't meant to replace current farmers, current whatever. These are just new companies that are starting to develop because of just capitalism, and they're finding ways to use the decentralized community of cryptocurrency with the blockchain. And again, the blockchain is like the ledger that stores the information and the transactions, so that we as a community can trust these companies, because it's trustless. And what that means is, it's a hard kind of concept to comprehend, is that because everything is stored in these blocks, it can't be changed. And so you don't have to trust the company anymore. You just look at the information that's locked in there, and then it's all revealed. And so that's the cool thing. And so Origin Trail is just something to help people who definitely need to know from stem to stern what they're paying for, and if it's exactly what they're paying for. And it's a great thing, especially for people with food sensitivities. That's where we're coming from. So we're going to move on to Mark now, and he's going to talk about some latest news, and I'm going to read it again because Mark can't see the slide. And amid developers' drought, team learns to hackathons to find talent.
Okay, so I'm going to keep this simple, especially if you are familiar with, say, like the NFL, pro football, or even just any sort of large sporting event. They have what they call combines. Okay, and it's really essentially just a get together for people that are in this ecosystem. So looking to get developers, sometimes you have the intellectual capital, but you don't have the ability to yourself. So what they do at these hackathons is they bring people in with ideas, and over a weekend they get, they kind of bind up teams together, or individuals and put programs together, and there's some payoffs. I know that I think Chainlink was one that just had finished one, I think yesterday. um, I read somewhere around $130,000 to the winner of the hackathon. So what it does is it brings in intellectual talent, says, okay, here's our format. It's a way for them, for individuals, because obviously this is a new ecosystem. There's a lot of people moving into it. There are people that aren't even aware of it, or people that are maybe not necessarily aware of it have the ability to be in this space. And it's a great way for just about anybody to compete and possibly have a job as a developer or whatever it ends up being. It's just kind of really cool to see that there are ways that this is really just a way to attract talent in this space. So it's, when you have something, industry moving as fast as it is right now, it starts to, it's like a hurricane, or not a hurricane, like a tornado. It starts to soak up all of that potential talent. So it was a great article. Enjoyed reading it. Listened to a podcast last week about a gentleman, I think he started 1inch, and that's how he got started, was a hackathon. Him and a partner of his got started, and they are developing 1inch, which is another platform within this ecosystem. So that's all for me on that.
So I guess we could say that if any of you are listening and you're newbies to crypto or what we're trying to say, maybe pay attention or start looking to search up the word hackathon. Especially you are really talented on this, really brain side of the community, which we're not. But if you are, and this is stuff that interests you, you might not realize this is going on even within your community, especially, even online. They're doing a lot of this, even, Zoom hackathons where you can even participate if your community can't be together because of certain situations where we have to social distance. Look up the word hackathon, because you might be able to get a job. Maybe your son or daughter could get a job because they're that talented on this side, as far as this side of the universe as far as intellect goes. So that is what they're calling it, and it's great. So, all right, is that it, Mark? Do you want to move on?
No, it's exciting. It's great to see. Like I said, I am not the guy that you are looking for. If you need the facility built or well furnished, I'm your man. But I think it's important to let people know that there are things out here like this that could, sometimes it's just situations like this that you can find some talent that kind of stumbles into this space and really finds a home there. So
cool. All right. I am going to talk about Bitcoin news. And this is something really cool that's coming up in about a week and a half, in about 10 days or so. And it's called Asset of the Ages. Bitcoin, Michael Saylor versus Gold, Frank, I think it's Gaiustra, or do you know how to pronounce that, Mark?
It's Frank Geistra?
Okay. So sign up and watch this. Michael Saylor is pretty much the largest Bitcoin advocate that we have and voice that we have right now. He is is he the owner of MicroStrategies?
I see. I don't know if he's
CEO
owner.
of it. All right.
CEO.
CEO of MicroStrategies. They have bought a ton of Bitcoin for their business, and he is going to defend Bitcoin, and Frank is going to defend gold as far as where is the largest store value for your money. And tune into that website that I have on there, and Daniela is going to be interviewing them both, and they're going to defend what they believe is where you should be putting your money with the current inflation that we think is going to be coming down in the near future. And so I think it'd be a really good event for you to watch, whether you've been in Bitcoin and crypto for a long time, or if you're totally new to it. It'd be worth your time, honestly. I bet it would go on. It's going to probably go on for an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and I would bet it's really worth it. So that's all I want to say. I think the event itself will turn you on completely to crypto, and maybe even gold too. Maybe gold, you'll find out there's part of your portfolio should be in gold. It's up to you. You have to decide what you find of value. But maybe if you're a gold maxi, you might actually be turned on a little bit to Bitcoin. So I think it's a good thing for everybody concerned. And now we're going to go on
Yeah,
to
I
you.
agree with that. I think it's important that if you're new to this ecosystem, that you get all your questions asked and answered. And the more information, you can never get too much information.
Yeah, and from like these
realistically,
experts.
yeah, and you're talking about old versus new, and that's kind of where the world is moving to. So I think it's great that these two gentlemen are getting together. I followed Michael Saylor for a little bit. Uh, it's amazing what you learn. I feel like since we've been in this space, I've learned about economics like crazy. I feel like I'm getting a degree without having to pay for it, other than my time. So it's been wonderful. Like I was joking with Brenda earlier. I said, when you're younger, you're watching two titans go at each other like Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant in wrestling, and you come full circle in your life, and now you're watching two heavyweights in the investment field go at it and talk about old and new technology. So very excited. If you're out there, invest your time. It would be well worth it.
Awesome. All right. Now we're going on to you, Mark, the quote from Miss Paris Hilton and why we should care what she says. And it says, yes, I'm very, very excited about this as well. It's definitely the future. And so why should people in Bitcoin and crypto care what Paris Hilton says?
I don't know if it qualifies anybody to be an expert. I just find it interesting that as a person who, as a person who was not a very early adopter of social media, she was definitely the first lady of social media, and she was an early adopter of which I didn't quite understand. Now I quite understand it and the importance of it. I just found it interesting, when she was asked about, her thoughts on it and NFTs and everything, that I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised on who's in this ecosystem, who's in the space here talking about it and why they're investing in it. And I think the important thing is she says it is the future. And I think I asked Brenda this, and when we looked at starting ourselves off in this space, and I asked one question, and it's a simple question because I'm a simple kind of guy. And you could probably ask yourself this question, say 20, 25 years ago when the internet first started. In the next 10 years, do you believe that this world's going to be more crypto-centric or less crypto-centric than it is? And it's a simple question. So that's something you have to investigate for yourselves. And I found that it was nice and refreshing on her being asked, and the answer was quite simple. So yes, enjoyed it.
I have to say that a lot of people at first were very excited when they saw it because the Bitcoin maxis put this red laser eye over their image on Twitter, and that means that they're a Bitcoin maxi and that's all they're focused on. And she came out as that, and so everybody's like, wow, she's just totally into Bitcoin. And then now she's coming out that she's totally into NFTs, and so a lot of people are kind of I don't know if angry at her is the word, but they're kind of like, oh, she kind of used that as her launching pad to kind of get recognized in the community as a big Bitcoiner, but then now maybe she's totally into NFTs. And so the only thing I would say is to not defend her, but as far as us as a community trying to get adoption for Bitcoin as the store of value to help have a safe harbor for our money to go to before super hyperinflation hits, that we need to get the community to realize that there are other platforms out there. And so maybe Paris is enough for some of the community to come on over and invest in Bitcoin, maybe and even NFTs, as much as a lot of us don't maybe understand NFTs and think it's kind of a blank coin. I don't want to say the bad word. But it's one of those things that, sorry, our basset hound is flapping his ears over here. She might be the launching pad for a younger community or someone who is into NFTs to come on over. And then they start to understand that there is the granddaddy of Bitcoin to invest in for their major store value. and then put their other money into NFTs, or they go into the NFT community. So I wouldn't totally bash her. I think that every person that comes into the crypto community does have value. And what I mean by people that come in, it's not just people like you and I who are, normal people. Then there's smart intellectual people, and then there's the massive financial people that have a lot of wealth to invest in it, like Michael Saylor, and pump it up. But then there are people who are just, big back from the 80s and 90s that were big MTVers and everything that are coming out. And so we all have someone that we can relate to that makes us make a pivot point to decide to switch over. So I welcome Paris. I don't care who comes over as long as they can influence their sphere. So all right, so we're going to move on so that we can keep the show running. I just like to present either some funny stuff or some interesting stuff on what I see on memes on the internet. And this one, Mark, shows Bitcoin versus Google, and it shows Bitcoin at 1.1 trillion, and it's 80% on its way to Google's 1.4 trillion. And Mark, you mentioned to me a couple days ago, how long did it take Google to get to that? Do you have kind of an idea?
I think Google's been around about 22 years, I believe,
Okay,
and Bitcoin is around for 12.
since
And
2008,
the
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
So that just shows how
the thing,
far it's come in such a short amount of time.
well, well, here's the thing. If you look at it from just a simple marketing aspect of all this, Google is a company that had money to move their adoption. Okay, they had marketing firms, they have individuals. Bitcoin really isn't. It's not a company. It's people, and it's people every day getting up and saying, okay, does this make sense? I'm a simple guy. I think the important thing to understand about all this is, does it make sense to you? And if it does, great. Look into it more. You want to invest a little bit. I get it. If it doesn't make sense, walk away. I think it's important that it has to make sense to the individual, because there's I don't know, 1,000 billionaires out there, and tens or hundreds of thousands or millions of millionaires out there. But the majority of people are the average, Joe and Jane going to their jobs every day, and they're just looking for maybe a little different view of the world. So I think if the space makes sense to you, I think it's definitely worth investigating.
Okay. And the other one I want to show is the Bitcoin bull sharpening his horns on Bitcoin for the bull run. So if most of you are probably aware, in the trading community, there's the bear and the bulls, and the bear is for the downtrend. When stocks, when we're so used to just talking about stocks, but the same in crypto when it goes down, and the bull is for when it shoots up. And so it's sharpening its horns. And because Bitcoin for the last about 2 weeks has been hovering around 55 to 60,000, and it just broke again this weekend over 60. I think the highest went was 60,400, and it's consolidating right now. So I just saw this, thought it was cute, and so maybe go on. You can even just do it right on your phone. I was looking before I got here. A simple app. It's not one that I use all the time, but I use it to check it real quick. And you should have a stock app probably on your iPhone, and then you can just type in BTC-USD, and you can see what it's trading for right now. Right now it's $59,818. And so we're believing in the next week or so that since it's consolidating so much, it's going to shoot up. So pay attention if you're new to crypto and new to Bitcoin. Definitely check it out and just start to see that it's going up. And we're going to talk more about Bitcoin the rest of the week, so you can start to understand it a little bit better.
The rest of the week, we just got started.
Yeah, I know. What I'm saying, we're gonna be here Monday through. Yeah, we'll be here Monday through Friday. So we're almost ready to wrap it up. What's that, dear?
Well, hold on. We're not going to wrap up just yet. Just real quick. Just so let everybody know that what time we're going to be here in the morning, Central Standard Time.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that on our last slide. We're ready to close down. I'm going to talk about job openings, and then we'll talk about
this. See, you're running the show over there.
Yeah. You don't even know what's going on.
I'll zip it.
Yeah, zip it. Zippy zipper. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about, and then we're going to end the show, and so that you guys can get off to work or whatever you have to do, is there are actually job openings all over the world, happening in the crypto community. And when I saw this, I thought this was like so cool because I've been a stay-at-home mom for 25 years raising our kids, and I want to go back to work next year when our final one graduates high school. And when I saw that there was job openings, I'm like, are you kidding me? I thought it was just Bitcoin and you could just invest in it. And I had no idea there's actually positions all over, which I know for most of you are probably like, duh. But I was like so excited to see this because I used to be, 25 years ago, working at a law firm in the derivatives market. And so I found it really fascinating. So I found crypto equally fascinating, actually more fascinating. And so there's a website you can go to called Pomp. Hang on, let me get off here. PompCryptoJobs.com. And you can, let me go to the front of the slide here. Apologize. And you can type right in there where it says location. And then if you want to, you can either put, so I put in Chicago, Illinois, because that's where Mark and I live. And so you can either put in your exact location of your city, or you can just put the word remote in case you don't want to go work at a physical location for whatever reason. If your community is in, a lot of social distancing and you don't want to, they actually have a lot of remote jobs as well. And so when I typed in the word Chicago, Illinois, a bunch of, I think 9 jobs showed up. If you can see there, it says 9 jobs found. And these are all physical jobs to go to. And so the first one is a full stack engineer, which I have no idea what that means. The next one is a senior associate, and those are the companies that are offering positions. And you can click on each one, and then they give the job description, what your qualifications would have to be, and then you can, and then the benefits and how much you're going to get paid, and then you can actually apply right there on this website. So I found this one, even with someone with very minimal education in crypto, you can become a customer support associate. And this one is by Gemini. And this one is down in Chicago. And Gemini is a new trading platform that's been around, not new, but it's been around for a while. But it's very similar to like Ameritrade or Fidelity. But Gemini, and it's strictly a trading platform for crypto. And so we can talk later on this week how you can learn and take a small online class to learn about Bitcoin and blockchain, and you could totally apply for a position like this. I don't know if you'll get the job or not, but you can actually apply for a position in person, and then they also have tons of remote jobs online to be an online customer support person. So if you're looking for a position, later on we'll talk about where you can take a class, and I find this fascinating. So there's a lot of things happening in the crypto world. I'll be posting jobs every week. Maybe we'll focus on certain towns. And then, I highly suggest if you're looking for a job, or if you have a family member or one of your kids decided to step away from college for a while because they're frustrated with online learning, maybe they have a
Or they're
pivot
coming
point for
out of
now.
college.
What's that?
Or they're coming out of college, Brenda.
Yeah. If they're coming out, like you said.
Yeah, a couple of my customers, 2 of the kids are going to be graduating. They're in computer science. This is right up their alley. So this is definitely a marketplace for the kids coming out of school today.
Definitely. If they can't find a job right away, they could take this small course. It might take a week online to take, and then apply, and then at least it's something they can do until they find the job that they went to college for. Who knows? So maybe they could actually start at a small position here and then work their way up, because a lot of these companies are new and they're probably looking for energetic people who are eager to make a difference. And so it's really really freaking awesome. So
this ecosystem it's really cool because you can go as fast or as slow as you want.
right.
That's the thing I love about this is you can move as quick as you want or as slow as you want. So
Right.
nice. Cool.
All right. So Mark, if you can start talking, we're going to wrap it up here. I have to find something on here. So I think we're ending this live stream now. Is there anything you want to say before we hang up until tomorrow?
No. I'm a big believer in asking a lot of questions, taking your time. The one thing that I've gathered out of where we started at and where we're at today is one thing is that I've really noticed is the people that were here prior to us are they're really great about giving you information or sending it. They're very friendly when you reach out to people or you talk to people. How accepting they are of you to come into this space. So I would say if you're interested, just kind of keep chugging along, slow or fast. It's up to you. Ask a lot of questions. We're going to be here. We're just kind of everyday people, and this is going to be our show, and we're going to get better at this, and hopefully we're going to give you better information. And that's kind of where we're at. And I get to go off and go swing a hammer now because I've got to go run another business. So thank you for joining us. Actually, Brenda, I'm going to hang up here because I've got to
No, you can
take
wait.
leave.
I got 2 or 3 minutes.
I will not hang up. I will do it.
I'm his wife. I can tell him what to do.
You can, and I'm a very good listener.
I'm his wife,
Sometimes.
and I'm going to tell him what to do, and you're going to finish this off and not be rude. So,
All right, go ahead. I won't go anywhere.
So let's just do a backstory. He took too long of a shower this morning, which delayed me getting ready. And so that's why he's running late for work. And so that's the real story. Anyway, so
Exactly.
So that's really what it is. So now he can be punished and be a little bit late for work. So anyway,
punished. Oh my gosh.
Anyway, so
right.
I won't say anything more. We're going to see you guys tomorrow. If you find us boring, don't tune in. If you want to learn more, share this. Stay tuned. We'll try to make it fun and exciting, informative. And that's it. So I'm going to end the show, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for, what's the show name, Mark?
Yep. Bitcoin.
Say what? All right. Bye, guys.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Hang on. Let me end it here.